Sri Suresh Prabhuji, former Union Minister, Republic of India, honorable ministers on the dais and in the audience, excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, friends, good afternoon. It is my distinct honor and privilege to address the 8th Indian Ocean Conference being held in this historic and beautiful city of Muscat. I would like to convey warm greetings from the people of Nepal. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Minister of External Affairs of India, Mr. Jaishankar, for his invitation to me, as well as the government, the Minister and the government of the Sultanate of Oman for their warm hospitality, the India Foundation and the S. Rajaratnam School of International Studies, Singapore, for organizing this conference. The main theme of this conference, Voyage to New Horizons of Maritime Partnership, holds special significance for Nepal as a landlocked country, as was referred to by my dear colleague from Bhutan. All of us present in this room are convinced that maritime partnership increases connectivity, which is a key conduit for inclusive and sustainable growth of humanity. And I really appreciate the organizers of this conference for inviting me here and for giving me the forum to speak on the subject of amplifying the voice of the Global South. The leadership role taken by the Government of India and the India Foundation in bringing our voices together is very commendable, and I highly appreciate it. Excellencies, the Global South represents a large percentage of humanity without whose progress the gains made by the developed world are also jeopardized. As we deliberate on amplifying the voices of the Global South, let us recognize that the Global South is the key to building a more just, fair, and inclusive world. Stronger South-South cooperation and collaboration is required to strengthen our collective resolve and resilience to overcome the challenges brought about by inequality, poverty, the growing debt crisis, social unrest and conflict, the digital divide, and more increasingly climate change. These pressing challenges of our times disproportionately impact the Global South, with higher stakes for least developed, landlocked, and small island nations where limited resources and capacities exacerbate vulnerabilities. South-South cooperation is regarded as an important development cooperation modality that addresses these challenges with transcend borders and impact interconnected geographical areas. South-South cooperation could thus enable countries to leverage existing assets for mutually beneficial efforts, as well as share homegrown solutions for collective gains and strengthen solidarity around emerging trends that could influence the prospects and development pathways of the region as a whole. And I think the Indian Ocean region is a large region that covers a big chunk of humanity, and I think it is very apt that we are talking about South-South cooperation in this forum. The South-South and triangular cooperation have been recognized as effective strategies to address immediate short and long-term gains to get back on track the Sustainable Development Goals as envisioned by agreements made at the Summit of the Future during the 79th session of the UNGA in September 2024. Thus, I believe this discussion being held today is on track to meeting the goals set out by the Summit of the Future. Further, the strategy of South-South cooperation has also been recognized as key in accelerating efforts to meet all existing international commitments and work towards concrete steps to respond to emerging challenges and opportunities, which was the aim of the Summit of the Future. Though the existing forums created by the member countries of the LDCs, LLDCs, and SIDs possess critical strengths such as abundant natural resources, young population, strategic locations, untapped markets, and innovations in sustainable technologies, there still exists dearth of synergy and strategy to tap the potentials of these precious resources. I'm hopeful that this dearth of synergy and strategy will be overcome in the coming days by the Pact of the Future, which is adopted by the world leaders at the UNGA, and forums such as this will help to take it forward. The Pact of the Future, which is regarded as a bold step forward for international cooperation that aims to create a world that is more equitable, sustainable, and prepared for the challenges of the coming decades. As we all know, these important documents also included the Global Digital Compact and a declaration on future generations. These documents are now regarded as the key guidelines for the future of humanity. Thus, this discussion today comes at an opportune moment as these pacts have been agreed to globally and are required to be taken forward. I'm especially hopeful as the UN Office for South-South Cooperation reports that the pact would lay the foundations for a just, sustainable, just and peaceful global order for peoples and nations. More importantly, the Pact of the Future highlights the importance of South-South and triangular cooperation in areas such as digital inclusion, AI governance, building capacities in science, technology, and innovations. I feel the roadmap for the future is pretty clear. We have had almost global consensus on the way forward for the future of humanity and identified synergies and strategies required therein. I would like to reiterate that the Global South represents the majority of humanity, and if we are going to leave no one behind, and if we do not want to be left behind, we must pull up our socks and tighten our belts and be serious about organizing our identified agendas by devoting time and resources to bring together more frequently to sit around the table the concerned stakeholders in order to achieve our common goals. In this very spirit, Nepal is hosting Sagarmatha Sambad, a permanent global dialogue forum to discuss pressing issues of regional and global importance. The first edition, which is to be held in Kathmandu from 16 to 18 May 2025, will revolve around the theme of climate change, mountains, and the future of humanity. We hope to bring together the affected communities, scientists, mountaineers, world leaders to deliberate and to commit to mitigating the impacts of climate change on mountains and glaciers. I would like to invite you all to participate in this dialogue, which will have a key focus on climate justice. Excellencies, to unleash the full potential of the Global South, we must prioritize reviewing of required policies for improving South-South cooperation, strengthening regional integration and fostering mutual learning, ensuring fair and equitable access to financial resources, reforming global governance and financial institutions to ensure the voice and representation of the Global South, advocate for the fulfillment of commitments by the developed countries, promoting equitable sharing and management of natural resources, improving connectivity by expanding regional networks through air, road, and sea, advancing capacity building through the transfer of knowledge, skills, and technology. In conclusion, I would like to stress upon the importance of listening to women and youth in amplifying the voices of the South. This is our time to rise and act. Let's build a legacy of progress that will inspire the generations ahead. In an interconnected world, our progress shares on shared vision and united action. Nepal remains steadfast in its commitment to expanding the new horizons for the Global South for sustainable and inclusive development. I once again extend my heartfelt gratitude to the organizers for providing this important platform. Together, let us build a future of peace, progress, and prosperity for the Indian Ocean region and beyond. Thank you and namaskar.